this religion is more based about the relationship, the private relationship between someone and Allah Azza wa Jal, rather than what happens in front of the people. Take, for example, your prayer. We know that for a person to pray in a congregation, it's more rewarded. And a person may get the 27 times reward by praying in congregation than by praying by himself, which may look in somehow that, well, you want to do your righteous good deeds in front of the people. But in fact, this is only for that 5 daily prayers. When it comes to other type of prayers, the sunnah is to pray them at home, so that you are doing them with no one watching you except Allah Azza wa Jal. And that's why Rasulullah used to pray sunnah at his home. There's no harm if you pray it in the masjid, but if you want to see which one is better, do the sunnah at home and do the 5 daily prayers at the masjid. And the reason I'm saying this is to mention one very important thing, which is to complement what I was doing or saying in the khutbah, that we have to establish something between us and Allah Azza wa Jal, separate from anything that people can see. And that's the only reason, or that's the only way we can improve what we call husn al-sarira. Husn al-sarira is this thing that in your heart that no one knows about, except Allah Azza wa Jal. That when you come and face Allah Azza wa Jal, you still have something to say, you still have something to show Allah Azza wa Jal, you still have something to be proud of, in addition to anything that you might have done in the public. And to bring that along with the other things that Rasulullah mentioned, taqi, naqi, and khafi, pious in his deeds. Whatever he does it because he feels that this brings him closer to Allah Azza wa Jal. Whatever he is doubtful about, he won't do it because he is scared that this might, subhanAllah, bring the anger of Allah on him. And then he is naqi in his feelings towards anyone else. And that's something that, subhanAllah, most of the time people tend to ignore. And they feel that their relationship with Allah Azza wa Jal is separate from the relationship with the other people. And it might be the case that a person could be good with Allah and not good with the people. And that's a misconception that unfortunately has been widely spread in nowadays time. And to give you some hint about this, remember, subhanAllah, how the pious predecessors used to interact with each other and how their private relationship used to impact the way that they approach others and the way that they deal with other Muslims. I want to give an example, not from Sahaba, because usually Sahaba is a high bar for everyone. But let me give you another example from people who came after Sahaba. And the example here is Imam Shafi'i, rahimahullah. Imam Shafi'i, rahimahullah ta'ala, said once, Wallahi, ما خالفت أحدا إلا تمنيت أن يجري الله الحق على لسانه. That I swear by Allah that there has never been a time when I argue with a person on a matter, except that I wish that Allah Azza wa Jal will bring the truth on his tongue. Not on mine, on his tongue. In another time, he's rahimahullah ta'ala, and that was before his death, very short, close to his death, he said, Wallahi, لقد تمنيت أن ينفع الله بهذا العلم الناس دون أن ينسب إلي منه شيء. That really, I swear by Allah that I wish that this whole knowledge that Allah Azza wa Jal has blessed me to give to the people has been spread among the Muslims without anyone attributing that to me. Meaning, I wish that the knowledge has been spread without my name being there, that for people to say, we got it from Imam Shafi'i. If you put these two together, number one is how much he is refraining from this fame and publicity, and he wants to deliver without him being in the picture. And then on the other hand, whenever he has anything different with people, he is this person who would like to go to the truth. It doesn't matter whether it came from him or from any other one. That's what we call naqab. That's the purity of someone's heart. You're not doing anything for people to praise you, and at the same time, you don't mind if yourself is not getting the credit for the work you're doing. That's naqab. That is actually something that we should always work on. And if we have that, then that's when actually our sarira becomes much better, because now what you do is not there's no chance that la subhanallah it has a share of what we call riya. You know, when a person feels that he has to prove his point to the people, you know what he's saying or what he's doing is actually shared with riya, because now it's not anymore just saying the thing to benefit people. It's more like, well, yeah, I have the points. I can make the points. And then the word of khafi, subhanallah, which is like doing things privately. It was reported that the Salihin, rahimahullah ta'ala, and I'm not talking here about Sahaba, even Salihin and like who came a long time after Sahaba, that they used to do things privately as much as they can, to the extent that a person would recite Quran and have the Mus'haf on his hand when he is by himself in a place. And if he sees someone passing by, he would put that in his pocket, or he would hide it somewhere so they don't know what he was doing. A person, one of them has said, that I wish that I can do things that so much and hide them so much so that even my wife could not tell what I'm doing. And that is why, subhanAllah, you see Salihin. And we heard that, or we read about this in many places, that they wouldn't be discovered that they would do Qiyam al-Layl by their family, except later in the time. Because when they do that, they try to do it without anyone knowing. Sometimes you hear something like a wife would wake up in the evening or in the dark night, and she would find her husband crying because he remembered Allah Azza wa Jalla by himself. You know, brothers and sisters, this hadith of Rasulullah when he said that about the seven that would be having the shade of Allah Azza wa Jalla's throne in the day of judgment, one of them was وَرَجُلٌ ذَكَرَ اللَّهَ خَالِيًا فَفَاضَتْ عَيْنَاهُ. That a person who would remember Allah Azza wa Jalla privately when he is by himself, and then his eyes will shed with tears. That's a person whose iman and his hope from Allah Azza wa Jalla, his relationship with Allah is truly evidenced by his actions. Because when he feels that hope from Allah Azza wa Jalla, and when he gives those feelings towards his Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's not because he is being impacted by a beautiful recitation of an imam, or maybe because he is in a congregation where everyone is crying, so he started to cry. It's because he really meant to cry for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jalla. And that's khafi, brothers and sisters. So again, inna Allah yuhibbu al-'abd al-taqiyya al-naqiyya al-khafi. Allah Azza wa Jalla very loves the person who is taqi, pious, naqi, pure, and khafi, who does the righteous deeds privately. I ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to make us among those who fulfill those three characteristics in their